everyone, welcome back. It's another WIP Wednesday. So I had asked on last week's WIP Wednesday if you wanted to see me continue working on this same page, and I got comments asking for me to do so. So I'm going to keep working on this. I don't know if I'll end up finishing it on WIP Wednesday, but we'll see how it goes. So I haven't worked on this at all since last one. And then last week I used my Derwent Artists, but today I'm going to use my Amazon Basics. That's a smaller set, easier to pull out, not messing around with a huge wooden box. And they actually have pretty cool colors, and the pencils themselves are surprisingly good for how cheap they are. I think the 72 count is like 20 bucks or something now. I don't know, I'd have to look that up. I'll leave a link in the description below, but either way, they're really cheap, and they are surprisingly good quality for how cheap they are. So let's find some colors. I want to do lots of purple. So I want to make like these houses purples and blacks, you know, traditional Halloween-ish colors. So let's get out my purple. And of course, if you have these, you can always, you know, color along with me or just listen to me chat. Violet. I want something a little lighter, maybe some lavender. And just like last week, I didn't pre-pick my colors, so I'll be picking them on camera. So I got a good purple one, and then I kind of want to get some pink in there. So let's find my magenta. And I wonder if I could just go straight to pink. Let's try that. All right. Make some room. Let me sharpen a couple of these, and then I can get started. Nothing like the sound of a sharpener in the morning. Alright, I'm going to play with these ones, see how far we get. The Amazon Basics ones, they are wax-based. I have a review on my channel, so I'm not going to go into that, but they are budget pencils, so you can like see here, oh, if camera will focus, how the wood kind of chipped away on that one. Is what it is. Like I said, I swear it's like 20 bucks for 72 pencils. So I'm not going to cry about it. Alright, let's work on this house. Yeah, they're pretty smooth. I wouldn't say they're like as soft as a Prismacolor or anything like that, but they're softer than Castle Art to me. And I say to me because everyone's different. Depending on your coloring style, what's soft to one is like harder to another kind of thing. That's why I always emphasize the to me portion. I'm a heavy-handed colorist, so I tend to notice what's harder a lot easier just because my hand will start to cramp. So I would say these are definitely softer than Castle Art. Castle Art does have a lot more colors, but who knows, maybe Amazon Basics will roll out like a 150 set one day, and I will buy it. I'm actually that impressed with them. Amazon is taking over the world, right down to the coloring. Yeah, they just need to start publishing their own coloring books, right? and then they've got the whole thing going. And I had only stumbled across these by accident. I just one time was browsing and they popped up and I'm like, Amazon makes pencils? And at the time they only had the 24 count in stock, and so I went and bought that and I swatched them, and then like not even a week later the 72 count came back and I was like, wow, these aren't too bad. Yeah, let me know if you've tried these. I do have a color along on my channel using these. I should probably do some more color alongs. I'm going to start putting some polls in my community chat. It's easier than asking for comments in the video itself. I've noticed a lot of you will click on the polls, you know, it's a lot easier to do. So I'll start adding those for requests. So yeah, everything here is about the same. You know, we sold the house, they did their inspection. Everything's kind of just in the paperwork mode. I'm waiting for the buyer's appraiser to come appraise. I am going over to the new house today. It's so weird because we haven't, you know, closed on it, but I have to like get all these steps done, and then everything is tentative. But ooh, I do not like the way that's blending all up in there. I have to, so when you buy a new home, it doesn't come with window coverings. So that's one thing like a lot of people don't think about. And so we have to do window coverings. And so I wanted to do plantation shutters. They just look nicer. They add value to your home. So it just makes sense kind of thing. So I am meeting with the shutter people, but it's going to be kind of interesting because it'll be like, hey, you know, give me my quote, but I can't officially order till this date. And some of them will have to be custom done, so we won't have the shutters right when we move in, but I can't like actually buy them because what if something happens and I'm out all that money I just spent on custom shutters. So getting everything like set up and in the works, but it's kind of like all tentative at the same time type of thing. And so I've just been basically doing that all week. I've got appointments, whether it's for the house or just like personal stuff. It's very busy. But I guess that's good. It keeps me from sitting around on my butt all day. And then I did buy 2 new sets of budget pencils. I'm in the process of making a swatching video and coloring with them to give you an actual review. I did get my Felissimos finally. So the ones I was charged for in February, they showed up at the end of February. So I just need to swatch them, and I'll put that out this week. Very pretty. Can't wait to color with them. I can't wait to get all of them, just so you know, you have them all there in front of you to kind of look at and see how they play with one another. The themed sets are cool, but it's just like, imagine 500 colors to choose from. Like, putting those in color order is kind of scary, but someone's already done it, so thank you. But yeah, it's just like 500 colors, so I'm kind of hesitant to keep using them because I want to wait till I have all of them just right there in front of me to play around with. Let's see, I'm just gonna make this all dark purple. I think those are windows right there. I was surprised a lot of you wanted me to keep going on this page, just because, you know, it's like the itty bitty little map, but it's fine by me. It's fun to work on, like, just these little components. Yeah, I need to get out, I want some blues in here too. Maybe like tealish, so let's see. Hopefully my camera's in the way so I can't hold it at the right angle. Okay, so let's grab, this set does have some cool tealish colors, so I want to grab bluegrass, cerulean, and turquoise. Yeah, I think a teal would be good. And then, let's see, I'll leave it at that for now. Okay. Oops, this might, yep, that's a dark one. So yeah, let's see. That's about it right now. Not a ton going on other than kind of that weird lag period where you're basically just waiting for the banks to push through the paperwork. And they're working on it, but it's like, why does this have to take weeks? Like, why is this such a delay? I mean, granted, they're not working on just our paperwork. I mean, they've got tons of paperwork right now. So we are just a number in the pile, literally. It just sucks because I just want to get it over with. This week I will start packing now that we know for sure our buyer is solid and going through. I'm going to start packing a lot more. And then selling some furniture off and that kind of thing. It's been kind of crazy with that stuff going on, but now that most of the showings are over with, I don't have to like sit there and keep my house in pristine condition, because that was actually starting to stress me out. I have a clean house, don't get me wrong, but I also have 3 kids and a husky, and we accidentally, well not accidentally, but we skipped our husky's last grooming appointment, so she's extra fluffy and shedding everywhere. Yeah, if you skip 1 month of grooming, you pay for it. I mean, she's just got fur everywhere. The other day, she jumped on my bed and went to put my covers on and just bleh, hair in my mouth type of thing. So yeah, note to self, don't skip the groomer. No matter how busy you are, just drop her off and get it done. And she actually turns 1 year old on March 9th. So she'll finally be a big girl. And she is a freaking big dog. And what's funny is she's not even done growing. Larger breeds still have up to 18 months to keep filling out. But I do have her going to the groomer on her birthday, so I was kind of joking it's her spa day. She gets her nails buffed, and apparently she loves to be brushed by the groomer, not by me. Anytime I try to groom that dog, she is like all over the place, won't sit still, you know, biting, so play biting, not being like a meanie, just being a little turd. And then I remember the first time I took her to the groomer, I was like, I'm so sorry if she's like a pain in the butt, you know, she doesn't want to sit still. And the groomer calls me that day and she's like, oh, she is like the perfect angel. She let me brush her for 45 minutes. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds about right. It's like your kids when they go to a friend's house. They're perfect little angels. And you're like, that's not my child. I'm sorry. You must have mine confused with someone else. Apparently dogs do it too. Will do a video, like I was thinking of doing like a video walkthrough of my new house. I was gonna do it for family anyways because, you know, a lot of family have requested to see it, and it's not like we're gonna have a housewarming party because we live in the COVID age, so it's kind of like a lot of people won't see it till, I don't know, when things are normal, and I don't even know when things will be normal. I know they got all those vaccines and you can get vaccinated, but it's not like everyone can get vaccinated. Let's see, make this roof teal. So now I want some grays too. Let's get these pinks out. Also, probably thinking like, what on earth is she doing? Does she have a plan? Nope, she does not have a plan. Just kind of rolling with it. So those are books. That's a tree house looking thing. I'm kind of just winging it on this one. The components are just so small. Not really trying to do anything fancy here. Oops, need to move my paper over. However, I think next week I will hop on a different WIP. I know some of you wanted me to finish this on here, but I do, because I put out my March pages that I plan to color, and there was quite a few requests, so I'm going to see if I can maybe incorporate some of those into my WIP Wednesdays. I might even just start doing a lot more color and chat full-length tutorial things. We'll see. I've kind of decided to not spend as much time on editing my videos, so I'll have to apologize like if you hear noise and stuff, but I've found that I can record more videos if I don't sit there and edit, you know, and like cut out every little sound. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's like more content with, you know, the occasional, you might hear my kids start to talk before I hit the pause button. But I can get more content out, or, you know, I do the editing, but then that means less content because I'm spending all that time editing. So it's like, which way to go? But I believe most of my subs, or most of you, have kids or get it and are like, whatever. So, or at least no one's complained yet, so. Now the pages on all the Romantic Country books, at least all the ones I've ever purchased, except her latest one, are like super smooth, ridiculously smooth. Her latest one had a tiny bit of tooth to it. It's hard to describe. Definitely doesn't feel as smooth as the others. Like, so certain pencils you can't use on this paper, and if you do, it just, like my Holbeins don't work very well on this paper at all. I don't like them at all on this paper. Let's see, so let me go teal building here. Yeah, like my Holbeins leave this funky residue, and I don't know what's going on. It's also could be because I'm a little heavier handed, you know, instead of layering. So that could be part of it too, but they don't, with my coloring style, they don't work well on this paper. Doesn't mean they wouldn't work well for you, they just don't for me, that's for sure. But everything else works okay. Prismas work really well on here for me. They kind of just glide all over. We have Black Widows, these Amazon Basics, obviously. And pretty much everything else, even my polys are fine on here. I think the only snag I've hit is with my Holbeins on this paper. I just think Holbeins need a little bit of tooth. Like this paper is smoother than the paper on Johanna Basford books. Like, and hers are smooth, but this is like, I don't know how to describe it. Until you feel it yourself, you probably won't get it, but it's just, it's hard to describe. Let's see, looks like those are windows. Wondering what I'll do for the background. I did get all of those new pan pastels, but let's see, I think one of them, actually, yeah, one is a dark blue. That would work really well to make my night sky. Or I could break out my Neo colors. I'm trying to leave the roof and the stonework gray. It's hard to tell what this is right here. Is it like mini stonework? I don't know. Yeah, that looks like a window and a door. And we have another building. funny how like these little tiny basic pages can actually be super consuming, like time consuming. I mean, last color in chat I think was almost an hour, and all I did were these trees, so super accomplished there. But it's just all these itty bitty little details that you want to fill in. It's like at the same time you're like, I don't know how detailed I want to go with that, just because do I want to spend an hour coloring one itty bitty little house, or, you know, move on? I think the books I'll do in browns. Actually, what would be fun, I'm just like bouncing ideas out there. It'd be fun to make like magical wisps in the sky. Possibly. I most likely won't use pencils like on all this grass area or the sky. It's either going to be pastels or watercolors or neocolors. Basically something that lets me color a large area a lot faster. So these are little cauldrons, I think, hanging down. You kind of have to identify what's what here, but I'm pretty sure those are little cauldrons, and then these look like windows. And yes, I started filming, so the jets decided to start flying. See, I told you, they have a beacon. Okay. Get that there. That there. Let's pick out our grays real quick while I'm at it. Grays. So with this set, there's not a ton of grays. Let's get it all in frame. So this is really all you have right here, here, and you have a silver. So it's like, doot. But it is a 72 count set, so it's not really fair to go judging them on that. I think I'll do slate gray, silver gray, and light gray. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the curse of the 72 count set. Most 72 count sets don't have a ton of grays, because if they did, that means they would have to axe the other colors. And then, you know, we would all complain, be like, oh, where's all the greens? Where's all the browns? So I rarely judge a 72 count set if they don't have a ton of grays. Now, if it's 150 pencils and they're still lacking on grays, that's when I'm kind of like, well, come on, guys. Like, you could have added a couple grays up in here. And there are a few brands out there that, you know, are 120, 150, and they're really lacking in grays. It's just kind of like, okay. Of course, gray is a color you can make, so... But I mean, like, all those different shades, you know, do I really want to layer that much to make that gray? No. I want 50 grays. I'd have to say, out of all the brands, I still think, well, Prismacolor I think has the best, because they have even their French grays, which are awesome, which are kind of like a neutral gray. Polychromos has a good selection of grays too. They've got their cool and their warms. And then, I mean, Holbein has some good ones too, I suppose. But I would have to say, for me, Prismacolor has a really good selection Black Widow has added a lot, especially with their Monarch set, which was nice to see more grays tossed into the mix, but even then, they're not quite as competitive, in my opinion, to Prismacolor's selection. Who knows? They might not even be done releasing pencils at this point. I mean, Prismacolor is pretty set. I don't think they're gonna surprise us with a 180 set, but that would be cool. Hey, if Bellissimo can make 500 pencils, it can be done. Although even with the batches I've been getting, I have noticed, you know, some are really close to one another, so just keep that in mind. I'm not going to color these individual bricks. I'm just going to kind of make some little shades here and there and then color it in type of thing. I'm thinking that's... If you guys have the Amazon Basics, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see some tutorials with them. I don't mind using these at all. There's other budget pencils I've purchased just to see what the hype is about, and then I'm like, oh, please don't ask me to do a color along with these. I kind of have a love-hate for castle art. I don't know what it is. Like, I wasn't wowed when I first got them, and I still use them now, and I don't mind using them. And I was even working on a ton of color combinations for them at one point, but I have to be in the mood to use those. I don't know. No, like, they're pretty popular. It's just not the pencil for me. And so I've purchased the Sioux Color and those Brute Fooner, whatever, however you say it, ones, just because they've been all over the coloring community lately. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll see what all the hype is about. The Sioux Color came the other day. I just finished sharpening them, so the swatching video will be a little bit later. But the Brute Fooner ones I will be doing very soon, since I've got them all sharpened. And I'm doing the square ones. I actually bought the Brute Fooner ones a long time ago, but the bigger set with the round barrels, and I didn't like them. And supposedly these square ones are not the same. I say supposedly because that's what I've heard. But I haven't swatched them yet, so I need to kind of play with them and see. But I could tell from sharpening them they were a little different. The cores were softer than the last set. I'm always interested in budget oil-based pencils. Wax, not as much, but budget oil-based I'm always kind of intrigued by, like Farben example. I bought those totally on a whim because I was like, hey, budget oil-based, because the only oil-based pencil I had at the time were polychromos, and at that time, back then, they were really expensive. Polychromos were, until I bought Holbeins and Luminance and Lightfast, and then I was laughing at the fact that I ever thought polychromos were expensive. But so I bought the Farben ones, and they actually turned out to be an awesome pencil. They're oil-based, budget-friendly. I mean, they're even cheaper now than when I bought them. So I'm always interested and kind of intrigued by the oil ones. But you know, one thing you have to keep in mind, so just because it's oil-based, it still has wax. Like, all pencils have oil and wax. It's just every manufacturer has a balance of how much oil to wax, and when they say it's oil-based, that just means it has more oil. But how much oil, you know? Is it like 80% oil and then 40% wax, you know? And everyone has their own little secret recipe formula, and that's what makes them unique. So like some oil-based pencils will be creamier than say like a polychromos because of their ratios. So what I'm basically getting at is just because it's oil-based, two oil-based brands are not going to be exactly the same. Like my Light Fast from Derwent, which are oil-based by the way, are nothing like polychromos to me. I don't know if anyone else has that feeling, but I notice a difference immediately. So those kind of things. Let's see. Ooh, on those windows, I can do my China glaze. Not China glaze, whatever it's called. Where's my glaze pen? Yeah, the Sakura Jelly Roll glaze pens. It'll say, oh, camera focus. It says glaze on it. They are just like this clear, glossy finish. They're really fun to put on windows, and you can put them on like jewelry once you finish it. You can even put them on eyes as you're coloring them to give kind of like that mirrored, wet look that the eyeball has. They're pretty fun. Unfortunately, they don't show up really well on camera, so it's more for your enjoyment than anyone you're showing it to, because on camera, like when you snap a picture, or like when I do it even live on my camera, or I'm showing you guys finished pages, you guys can't really see it. So it's kind of more for yourself. They're fun. I'm actually running low. You do go through them pretty fast. Like this one has about a third left. And depending on the next window I put that on, I could use it all. Like it flows really quickly out of there. But they're pretty cheap. You buy them in 2-packs. I forget how much. But they're on, I get them on Amazon. I believe Dick Blick has them open stock. I swear I had checked the other day and saw them there. So I might go that route, because I think it was like $7 or $8. No, it could have even been 10. Now that I think of it more. Right, so for this roof, I'm not gonna... See, all these tiny details, it's like you have to ask yourself, do I really want to sit here and color in every itty bitty brick? Which also means sharpening. Or just kind of color them in and call it a day. Okay. Oh, there's bricks down there. Yes, this could definitely go towards one of the coloring tags for the year. Rosy Crafted Colors has one all year long. It is, where is it? I've got a whole list and I taped it to my wall and I can't even find it now. Coloring Spooky 2021, that's what it is. So this could totally apply to that because it's, you know, witches and stuff. It's Halloweenish. I'm using some Halloween colors. Let's see, I don't want to do that one. I also got to color in my little cauldrons. We've got little berries off these trees. And these are flowers. Part of me is just talking to myself, trying to identify what's what here. Probably need to break out some greens for all these leaves and stuff. Let's see if I see any more of that type of flower. Yeah, one thing about these Amazon basics are you can press pretty hard and they don't break. Of course, now that I said that, I'm probably going to snap a tip or something, but they are pretty strong. Alright, so let's get to... I got this castle way up here. Guess that's all brick. I have to keep moving my paper because when it bends over the side, it actually lifts up the paper. It's harder for me to color on. Go. Such an itty bitty little area. Okay. I have so much to get coloring this month, this page included, but I want to get my pan pastel tutorial going. I'm going to use this pretty little face here. My printer, I don't know if you guys can see it. See how there's a line across her nose right here? Something's on my drum. I have a laser printer. I don't know what's causing it. I've tried a few different things. I've tried cleaning it out. So like anytime I print out a PDF, there's always that stupid line, but it's not a big deal because I color over it. I'm pretty sure there's just like a scratch on the drum or something because I've exhausted all other methods to figure out what's going on. Get that in there. I think Neo colors would be pretty fun for the background or the sky because there's a good selection of Neo colors out there. And you don't have to buy the big set. The only reason I have the big set is, so what happened was, what was it, Black Friday deals? I ordered some museum aquarels from Blick Arts, and then they kept back ordering and just never, months went by and I never got them. So I ended up canceling it, but since I had already budgeted the money, I was like, well, what should I buy next? And so I was on the fence between Neo colors and Albrecht Dürer. So I bought the Neo colors, and I'll admit I haven't used them much at all, and I really need to. I've used them a few times and they're really fun, but I need to use them more. And that's one of my goals this month too, since I'm trying to participate in all the year-long coloring tags. There's one out there for crash your stash, but it's like using up your mediums you don't use. And I am going to definitely do that, so I need to start using my Neo colors. I want to do more alcohol. I use up my alcohol markers off camera a lot, but I don't use them on camera. So I want to kind of start doing that. I have some Arteza watercolor pencils. They aren't too bad, actually. I know Arteza's like in the hot seat over the whole, their wax pencils spread. That must just be with the new ones. I tested mine, and I bought mine a long time ago, about when they first released, and they don't do that. But I guess my biggest thing was, is it really a big deal? Like, why are we taking water to our colored pencils in the first place? Like, now I could understand if like you're doing mixed media, so like you put down your wax-based pencil and then say you got a background, you know, with your watercolor pencils or Neo color, and you accidentally brush against your Arteza wax base and it, you know, releases. I get that. But even then, like on the videos I've been seeing, they're not releasing a ton of color. They're not releasing as if they were watercolor. The certain colors are, like the reds, that one dragged pretty far, but I don't know. I guess I just, I guess I'm not on the train of like bashing on Arteza because I'm like, it doesn't really affect me. Like even if mine did that with water, I'm like, okay, I'll just be aware of it, not touch it, or, you know. spray it with a fixative so it doesn't move, but mine didn't do that. So I have the older ones, so it must be something up with the new ones. I don't know. I didn't bother researching it a whole lot because I was just kind of like, I mean, it wasn't a big deal to me. I was going to do a video at first showing it, but I was just like, there's just so many out there already. And I know a lot of people are like all up in arms and stuff, and I kind of feel bad for Arteza trying to make, make their big break, and then that happens. But honestly, like, my biggest thing is, to me, it wasn't even a big deal. Like, I don't care, so I'm not making a big deal out of it. And like I said, it would really only affect you if you're mixing media, and apparently only if you bought the newer ones. So they just had a little manufacturing oopsie, I guess. I don't know. Or they changed their formula. I just haven't repurchased Arteza's yet to find out for myself. But would I still buy Arteza's despite all the bad publicity they're getting right now? Yes. Only thing is it's kind of like Castle Arts. I have to be in the mood. So I really, really loved Arteza when I first got them. And I even have a video on my channel about best pencils for beginners, and they were listed as one of them. But since that video, I have acquired a lot more beginner pencils, and also just revisited a lot of my old beginner pencils. So my opinion has actually changed on that. So I kind of need to update that video. Kind of do a more updated one based on all the new budget pencils that are out there. But my answer would still say the same as what's the best, I think, for a beginner. And I like to always emphasize what I think, not what is the golden rule, not what the world, agrees on. Just from my perspective, I still think Prismacolor are a great pencil to start with, because there are so many tutorials out there. You can watch videos on how to color just about anything with a Prismacolor. Can't do that with Black Widow. You certainly can't do that with Amazon Basics. There's tons of color combos on Pinterest, and while Prismacolors are expensive, they aren't compared to the higher end pencils. So I would redo that video for my top 5, but in the end, I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert. The answer would stay the same for what I recommend, because honestly, my coloring improved once I started with my Prismacolors, because there were so many color alongs and tutorials out there for me to follow that I was able to actually learn something. Now you could do Black Widows and use a conversion chart, but a Black Widow does not perform exactly the same as a Prismacolor. So you have to keep that in mind when you're following these tutorials, There's going to be a little bit of a difference. So yeah, I still stick to my guns on that one. I've had a lot of people that disagree, and that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. That's why I say this is just my opinion, not like the gold standard. I'm not the speaker of all pencils and colorists of the world. But for me, I definitely was able to color and learn a lot more once I started using Prismacolors. And then I could branch out to other pencils. There are a lot of tutorials out there with polychromos and a lot more with luminance and light fast, but I mean, we're talking beginner here, folks. Who's going to be breaking out their Derwent light fast to learn how to color? That would be kind of silly. Do notice there's a lot more Black Widow tutorials popping up too, but I'm hoping Black Widow will eventually offer it in one big package and not 5, 6 tins? Because it's getting expensive, believe it or not. They're not as budget friendly as they used to be, but the Monarchs did go down. When they first came out, they were up there, and they've come down since. But still, it would be a lot easier for a beginner to acquire if they didn't have to go acquire 5 or 6 tins of pencils to complete the set. I have a few videos I want to redo. I also want to go back and redo some of my reviews, kind of like how I feel a year later type of thing. I still plan on doing a video with all of my coloring books, showing you all the books I have. And then I plan on doing an update on like my colored pencil collection kind of thing, because I've acquired quite a few since I did that one video. Oh, these have cracks, so maybe add those in later. But yeah, so I've gotten a lot of pencils since last time I did that video. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It means I've been spending a lot of money on things. I have decided though that I'm not going to buy as much anymore. I'm basically going to use the money I earn from YouTube now that, you know, I've partnered or hit monetization. I'm going to use that towards my supplies so that I don't like go bankrupt collecting everything. And that'll kind of tone down my, you know, coloring spending as well. So I'm not spending a fortune every month on stuff. It'll for sure make me curb it and kind of like rethink before I just buy stuff, because man, there's so many tags out there that involve like showing books, and it's so dangerous for me because some of them I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about that book, it's so cute, I want to buy it, and I just buy it. So I'm like, yeah, I need to tone that down a little. It's a bad habit, but honestly, like collecting your coloring supplies versus coloring in them are two different hobbies. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with collecting. Like, even if you buy a book and you don't plan on coloring it, but you bought it because you knew it would go out of print one day, you know? Or who knows, you just bought it because maybe one day you'll feel like coloring in it. It's kind of like me with all of Kirby Roseanne's books. One day I will color in it. Might not be today, this year, this century, but one day I will color in my Kirby Roseanne's books. I tried for that one WIP Wednesday, but I couldn't finish it. I just couldn't. And I even picked an easy page. I'm super excited though for his new book, actually, because it's not traditional Kirby style, which I know some people are upset about because they like Kirby's, you know, hidden objects and stuff. But the new one I'm actually very interested in. It still has his, you know, drawing style, but without all the hidden little doodads in there that throw me off my game. I think that's the problem. I'm just like, how do I fit this telephone into my scene? It just doesn't match my colors that I want to do. So that's where I snag on Kirby's stuff. Okay, to get this one, that one. Oops, dropping pencils. Let's see. Okay. Man, look at that, 40 minutes, and this is the progress I've made on this itty bitty map. That's the problem with these pages. It's like, because people will go, oh, how long does coloring take you? And I'm like, honestly, if I were to time it, I don't know, hours upon hours. I mean, because last time, I think I recorded, what, 40 minutes, and we only did these trees. And then this one, we're over 40 minutes in, and this is all I've accomplished. But it's just, coloring takes time, especially pencils. Markers, not so much. They're pretty fast. Same with ink tints. Ink tints goes a lot quicker. Let's see. These cracks. Just gonna add black on those. Alright. So I think I'm at a good stopping point. I'm thinking next week I'm going to start working on one of the many books that I put in my March pages, just because I really want to get those all out. I was really ambitious. You can go check out the video. It posted on Monday, on March 1st. Yeah, I was ultra ambitious with everything I wanted to get done, but it's because it's just like there's so much I want to color, and I'm like, I really need to get coloring. So definitely check out that video, because in that video I do show you the pages in the book. So I don't just say, here's the book. It's the actual page in the book. There's actually some in here. So I got this owl page. Oops, let me hit the camera. And this little bookshelf page. This is gonna take forever. I'm actually saving this for the Sioux colors, and this will be my test page for the Sioux colors. There's 180 colors, and I can totally make that work in here. But go check that video out. Let me know if there's an item on that page you want to see a tutorial on, like for here. Say you want to see, you know, how I color trees, leaves, a lantern, anything like that. So check it out. You know, let me know if there's like you want a full-length color along. I won't be able to, you know, do everyone's request, but the more requests I get for the same thing, then I'll be able to, you know, implement those first versus kind of if I only get one or two. But I'll do my best to do as many as I can. I'm really hopeful that I actually get through all those pages I picked. That would be so cool if I can pull that one out. So we'll see. But thank you guys so much for sitting and chatting, and I will catch you next week.